we're not saying that the Warriors, like, here's my position with Draymond Green. I have a hard time thinking about Draymond Green moving on. I have a hard time thinking that this dynasty can continue to roll on without Draymond Green when you look at his value to this team. And you look at that Pelicans game. You got the, like you said, Shaska, the other day on Twitter, you got the full Draymond Green experience, right?
Crazy.
He's yelling, he's barking at assistant coaches, he's barking at players, he's barking at the other team. But you see his value within this team, and you saw the way he balled out in that second half, and you see the way he does ball out for this Golden State Warriors team. Thanks, Spinoni, for that burrito as I left my breakfast at home. Can the Warriors can they win without Draymond Green moving forward? I have no idea because we haven't saw it in over a decade. We see the Warriors win with Draymond Green. We see that when they're without Draymond Green, and it's kind of like the triplets with the Dallas Cowboys. When you took away Emmitt Smith, or you took away Michael Irvin, or you took away Troy Aikman, the Cowboys were not as successful.
Can I ask you this one? And I know we don't view them the same way. I'm not here to say Brandon Belt equals Draymond Green. We all know Draymond is more impactful in his sport for his team and his organization than Brandon Belt will ever be. I don't mean any disrespect to Brandon Belt when I say that. But don't you think there was buyer's remorse for Giants fans being loyal to the core when the back end of those deals started to come to fruition?
It did, but I never considered Brandon Belt one of the top 3 important players for the Giants.
Okay.
Draymond Green is a top 3, top 4 now baseball.
How about Crawford? Maybe there's not a proper like for like. I'm just asking because I do feel like when I watched Giants fans in real time, it was keep all these guys. They're champions. They've earned it.
Right.
And look, Draymond's done more than Draymond is again more impactful in his sport than these guys.
Right.
I'm just using this as a microcosm or a metaphor to kind of didn't Giants fans have buyer's remorse? I guess is the question.
Yeah, would Warrior fans have buyer's remorse for Draymond Green? I think when you think about all the banners. And think about how he's flipped this organization defensively, the way he talks, and the way Draymond is role for this community. You think about off and on the court, the impacts.
Oh, no doubt.
The impact that all these Warriors have had on and off the court, embracing the Bay, embracing Oakland, embracing the culture. To me, I have a hard time with that because I see Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford. I don't think. That's tough for me, Shasky.
Okay, let me phrase it this way then. And these are all hypotheticals. We're just throwing things out. I can guarantee if you keep the core together for 4 more years, you don't win another championship. Let's just say I'm guaranteeing you don't win another championship, but they all retire Warriors. Would that be happier than them, pushing rolling the dice and seeing something else out there?
Don't you want to go down with these guys? Don't you want to go down with these guys?
I feel like you owe it to them. I feel like you owe it to them.
And I don't know if it has to be 4 years. What if it's 2 years? What if it's 3 years? What if it's another year with the player option? Yeah. What if it's like Iguodala who signed 1-year deals with you, or Kevin Durant who signed those 1-on-1 deals? Yeah,
and came back. I don't know. I just Iggy. I love Iggy. But Iggy's on a tier just below those in terms of endearment and being all-time.
And think about Iggy. Think about Iguodala with this fan base.
It's been checkered.
It's been a little checkered.
It's been a little checkered, but he's very beloved. I'm not here to say that he's not very beloved. I guess the question that we keep coming back to is just how many more years do you think these guys have in them?
Yeah.
Which has been the question for 6 years now. And then what are the sacrifices you're willing to make to accommodate them?
And it's all dependent on this playoff run they're about to go on.
I agree.
It's all dependent on that. Now, you need Andrew Wiggins, and if he comes back and he can help, how deep do they go in this playoff run? By the way, King of the Hill in the 8 o'clock hour.
What if they hadn't won last year?
Yeah, I know. Well, but they did. See,
I know, but I always
if they hadn't won last year, everything would be different.
I agree with you.
Would Jordan Poole get an extension? Would Andrew Wiggins get an extension?
No.
Would Draymond Green have been traded? But they did win.
I know.
They did win.
I know.
And they won without going to a Game 7 in each and every series.
That's the craziest part.
They didn't go into a Game 7. And they lost one game at Chase Center, which was a fluke. Shameless shout-outs, 10 minutes. Shameless
Remember
shout-outs.
how scared to death we were coming off that loss to Boston in
Boston? Game 3?
It felt like we were it was walking the plank.
But you know what, though? That Friday,
Chris Mullin?
I talked myself into winning Game 4, and then Chris Mullin calmed everybody down.
Did you see the thing? I think you sent it to the chat, but I saw it all over talking about Steph Curry's Game 4 performance.
Al Horford said that after Game 4, he could hear the Warriors in the locker room. And, yeah, they tied the series at 2-2, but the Warriors have felt like they won a championship. And I kind of felt like that was the game, too. We all felt coming out of Boston that Friday night that series was over.
I think that's the greatest road victory of all time in Bay Area sports. I'm dead serious on this in terms of legacy defining.
Yeah.
It was a dynasty defining moment, and it was a Steph Curry defining moment. His signature performance against a signature blue blood organization. That is a bold statement, but I mean that with all my heart.
Well, considering there was a championship on the line, and if you go down 3-1, you're probably not winning that series. Yeah, it catapulted Game 6 Oklahoma City in 2016.
Is it better than the Game 7 against the Royals on the road with Bumgarner?
Ooh.
I feel like they're pretty close.
Game 7's Game 7.
But this is Steph Curry cementing himself as a top 10 player in the history of the game.
No doubt. Let's go to Robinson.
I don't know. It's just interesting. I'm asking all these questions. Seeing that Channing Frye, I was like, or Al Horford. I was like, yeah, that's one of the great games that we'll be talking about for 40 years.
Let's go to Robinson Bruno. Rob, what's happening?
Rob?
You're on the roast.
What's going on, fellas? Hey, that game 6 play when Kevin Durant, Westbrook, Curry, all them cats on the floor, and you telling me Warriors down 3-1, and the guy on the floor is Klay Thompson. I think that's the biggest game in his dynasty history because they lose that game. Okay, so he probably wins the finals, and they don't get Kevin Durant. So,
that's a good point.
So Klay Thompson really,
that's a good point.
Thompson really saved the dynasty. But I'm gonna go to this. I feel like if the Warriors had kept Wiseman and want to develop him, you can get rid of Draymond. But now you can't get rid of Draymond because who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah.
Who's going to come here and play with the Warriors and play that style of play? And I think it's too short. I don't think no team in the NBA is going to allow Draymond to play the way he plays here. They're not going to put the ball in his hands like that. But Klay Thompson, I think Klay Thompson going to have options. So I think that's going to be a tougher trick for the Warriors. He's going to have options.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson go to the Sixers. He can go anybody else and play the second role because he can shoot. He's 6'6". Draymond, I'm sorry, Draymond, but you've been in the league this long. You should be able to hit a corner three like Bruce Bourne. Bruce Bourne could hit nothing else but a corner three.
PJ Tucker.
You should be able to hit if Draymond can consistently hit a corner three and an 18, 15-foot jumper, the Warriors can continue winning. But until he develops that, I think that this year and I think next year they got to flip their roster and try to do something different because I don't think they can continue winning with this style of play. Because people are getting older and the teams have figured it out. So
it will be fascinating to see how they retinker this roster if they do move on from Draymond or Draymond Green opts out. Remember, Draymond Green has a control.
He controls it. And he had a great point at the beginning that I want to ask you about. So many ball-dominant players in the league, so many point guards that have to have the ball in their hand, so many superstars that have to have the usage rate, the ball in their hand. How many other teams out there in the league would allow Draymond Green to play point forward?
I don't know. You see a lot of it, though. The Pelicans don't have a true point guard.
That's true.
The Lakers, when you look at their point guard situation.
The point guard.
Yeah, but exactly. He's the point guard. He's a point forward. So, you think about the Clippers, like Russell Westbrook. Kawhi and Paul George had the ball in their hands a lot.
Yeah, it feels like your
turn. The Nuggets, Jokic is handling the basketball. Yeah. They don't have a true point guard. So a lot of teams have gone away from the prototypical point guard.
Yeah, but where does he fit in? Like, how many teams would allow him to be the primary ball handler?
I think a lot of teams.
You think a lot of teams?
Well, it depends on who's that co-star, right? If it's, say, LeBron James, well, he's not going to have the ball in his hands. If it's Kawhi Leonard, he's probably not going to have the ball in his hands.
So why does the Laker fit then? Why do we keep connecting Draymond to the Lakers?
I think that's just a fan thing.
Is that just a clutch?
I think that's a clutch fan thing.
Okay.
I don't know how much.
Because I'm kind of with you on like the fit. Like, how does Draymond as an off-ball shooter help LeBron? Isn't their big issue like off-ball shooting?
Well, yeah, and think about LeBron James. He wants shooters. He wants to be surrounded by shooters.
So I'm saying
that he's always wanted that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, 5 minutes shameless shout-outs. 888-957-9570. Spadoni, get in here.
Oh, well, I was just saying the addition of Jared Vanderbilt, I think, kind of puts that to mood. The way he's been playing, why do you need Draymond Green now, right? It's kind of redundant at that point.
Yeah, younger, longer, athletic, no doubt. Let's go
Thank you, Spadoni, for chiming in between burrito bites.
Yeah, that is
I just inhaled that thing, too.
I cannot wait to get to the break, no doubt. I'm starving.
Well, no shameless shout-outs as I stuffed this burrito down my gullet.
No cap. Oakland, what's happening?
Back.
He's back.
Alcatraz.
No cap. What you got?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man? Are you calling us about the Bill Simmons podcast?
Good. Huh?
Are you calling us about the Bill Simmons podcast?
No. That's over done with. No, I was saying, okay, so with the Draymond Green situation, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I mean, Draymond's going to be 34 next year. He opts in. And then it's a new contract to give him a 4-year deal. He's going to be, 38, 39?
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable paying Draymond Green for the next 4 years. And as far as Clay is concerned, Clay, I don't trust him going into the playoffs right now. He's too up and down. I believe in Steph, but I don't believe in Steph's Robin going into the playoffs, especially without Wiggins. I think Wiggins and Poole really hit Clay in the playoffs last year. Clay had maybe 2 games out of 3 series in the finals where he was like really, really good.
Clay,
that's where I'm at on it. And also, I want to go back to something y'all said earlier. You asked, could this team win without Draymond?
Right.
Let me ask you guys this. If they had Mikal Bridges instead of Draymond, can they win?
Well, Mikal Bridges is a dynamic player.
I don't think they would trade Mikal Bridges straight up for Draymond.
It feels like Brooklyn is going to build around Mikal Bridges as opposed to like moving on from him. Plus, he signed that big deal when he was at the Phoenix Suns. I love Mikal Bridges.
I think he'd be a great warrior.
He would be good. He would be good.
He'd be great on a lot of teams, though.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges is a baller. He's a champion, too, out of Villanova. Obviously not an NBA champion, but he's a really, really good player. Why would Brooklyn give up on that? But that's going to be fascinating if the Warriors do flame out in these playoffs. Now, you mentioned Klay Thompson being up and down in the playoffs. Klay Thompson's streaky. He is streaky.
Always been.
But when you think about him in the playoffs, he shot the same percentage from 3 and from the field that he did in the 32 regular season games.
That's crazy.
And you think about his Boston series. All right, game 3, he woke up. He went 7-17. Game 4, he scored 18. Game 5, he was 7-14. Hit 5 threes in game 5.
Yeah.
He was really good. Game 5 against the Dallas Mavericks, he scored 32 points and hit 8 threes.
He carried them.
Think about his game 6 against Memphis.
Yep.
Think about some of those games against Memphis. He played really, really well. So
wasn't the first half against Memphis? He hit a bunch of threes in Game 6.
Yep, and he hit the dagger 3 in Game 6 as well. Game 5 against the against the Nuggets. You look at his Nuggets series; he was really, really good. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Warriors retinker this roster. By the way.